Playback the Lost Tapes. Originally written and voiced by Musical Pumpkin.
Have you ever ran from a monster? I imagine it's a random question to ask someone. It's a different type of feeling, especially if you are a little kid, barely tall enough to gaze over the stovetop. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had been at a friend's house, just a stone throws away from where I lived. The night had come, so hence it was time to return home. While I was still pretty small, I was at least old enough to make my own way back. Or at least my parents thought it safe enough. As I was walking back, I noticed something at the corner of my eye. As I crossed the street, I happened to glance to my right, and I could have sworn I saw someone. Someone tall. I quickly turned towards what I thought I saw, and there was nothing. I could have sworn I saw something tall walking down the road. I, in my young mind, instantly thought it best to hasten my pace back home. When I shortly arrived, I felt a feeling of relief wash over me. I walked in through the front door and excitedly greeted my parents. They were both seated on the couch enjoying some tea and watching news on the television. They responded in kind. After I gently put away my backpack, I mentioned a strange sighting I had on my return trip. My mother was only slightly interested, but my father instantly turned his head towards me. Now fully focused on me, he inquired further. Of course, I was honest and told him what I thought I saw. A very tall person walking down the road. My father paused. He then spoke and said it was probably just my eyes playing tricks on me, and due to the low light. He then returned his gaze towards the television. I thought nothing of it. The following day on the bus ride to school, a classmate seated near me was talking with their friend. From what I could overhear, there was an accident. Later that day, I would learn that said accident involved the whole family. They had been found in the early hours of the morning, all dead from smoke inhalation. The family lived near to where I and my friend live. I will admit it was unsettling. What was worse is that the authorities were unsure as to the source of the smoke. They all suffocated in their sleep. After I returned home, I noticed something odd. My father seemed very bothered by something. He was poring over some notes in various papers and was taking phone calls through most of the night. My mother, on the other hand, simply sat calmly on the couch, her eyes glued to the television. Later, as I was bedding down, I heard my father going around the house and closing all of the windows. At the time, I didn't think it odd. It was fall, so it wasn't terribly hot out. Thinking nothing of it, I soon fell asleep. A while later, I woke up, thirsty. Hence, I tiredly got out of bed and walked downstairs. The house was dark and quiet. The lights from the lamps outside beamed in through the windows, casting eerie shadows that skulked at the corners of your eyes. I reached the fridge and poured myself a cold glass of milk. Closing the fridge and taking my glass, I turned around and froze in my tracks. I saw a shadow of a person standing at a window, but it was only their lower half. It was someone tall. I suddenly felt a hand cover my mouth and pull me back towards the stairs. I instantly knew it was my father. He took me to their room and locked the door behind him. On the floor was a mess of papers, All of them were various notes and documents from my father's work. He was a scientist, working at the time for a company called Himagato Labs. He whispered to remain quiet, and that I'd be in their room tonight. As the night went on, my father would explain to some extent what it was. It was called the Setaka Chishi. In English, it means tall choke. It is called that for obvious reasons, but the choke part comes from its ability to produce a choking amount of smoke from its mouth. He then told me it was likely what killed that family. When the morning finally arrived, my father did me a favor by calling me out of school that day. He said it would be best to go get some sleep. All these years later, and I still don't know where that thing came from. I originally suspected it was some form of yokai, but something in my heart told me that was wrong. My father knew something about it, about where it came from, but he never said, and since then, he is still silent.
Hey everybody, it's your good friend, the Musical Pumpkin, and I do so hope you enjoyed episode 5 of Playback the Lost Tapes, Setaka Chishi. This was more or less a spur of the moment. I do have some other things being worked on right now, but I had to do my thing, is what I call it, and divert all of my attention to a separate, totally not unrelated project, and get the good old brain juices a flowing. Because I am almost on break from this month's classes, so I get to have the luxury of getting more channel stuff done, which is absolutely splendiferous. Anyway, I do so hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're all awesome. You can find my Instagram handle in the video description. It is MusicalPumpkinStudios, just like this one. Check me out on Instagram. You can cyberstalk me there if you want. God, what else? I do streams and other stuff like that. If you are totally down for that, you should totally check some of that out sometime. And also totally check out Fractured Stories. The first series I have running, and yeah. This was your good friend, the Musical Pumpkin, from us at Musical Pumpkin Studios. Stay awesome, and you stay dope, folks.